On May 19, 2018, the world basically stopped to watch. On giant screens, in city squares, in living rooms across continents, an estimated 1.9 billion people tuned in. They were all witnessing what felt like a real-life fantasy. An American actress, a star in her own right, was marrying a British prince inside the ancient, hallowed walls of Windsor Castle. It was a global sensation, this breathtaking blend of centuries-old tradition with a shot of vibrant, modern energy. It was, for a moment, a fairy tale. But what was really happening behind the stained glass windows and the flawless smiles? And how did this seemingly perfect day, this symbol of hope and change, become such a crucial turning point in the history of the modern monarchy? Years later, the story looks very different. This is the story of the wedding that captivated the world, from the secret romance that started it all, to the breathtaking ceremony that we can now see in a completely new light. Before the global spectacle, there was a very quiet beginning. Their story didn't start in a palace or at some stuffy state dinner. It started in London, back in July of 2016. A mutual friend set up Prince Harry with Meghan Markle, an accomplished actress on the hit legal drama Suits. Harry had apparently seen a playful video of Meghan on social media, complete with a dog filter, and was immediately intrigued. That first date, at a townhouse in Soho, was a smash. So much so, they immediately locked in a second date for the very next night. But the real connection, the one that would anchor them through the storms to come, was forged far away from any cameras. Just a few weeks after they met, Harry took a huge gamble. He invited Meghan to join him on a trip to Botswana. 4 or 5 days they camped under the stars, totally disconnected from the world, and just got to know each other. It was a whirlwind, a leap of faith that paid off big time. As Meghan would later say, that time together in the African wilderness was absolutely crucial. It laid a foundation of real friendship and a deep connection before their relationship was inevitably thrown into the global spotlight. And that spotlight came on fast and fierce. By November 2016, the news was out. Kensington Palace did something almost unheard of. They released a formal statement confirming the relationship, but it was also a blistering attack on the press. Harry's statement defended Meghan from what he called a wave of abuse and harassment, slamming the racial undertones of news commentary and the outright sexism that had been aimed at her. It was a fiercely protective move. It was also a clear signal that this was serious, and that he wouldn't let history repeat itself. Nod to the crushing media pressure his mother, Princess Diana, had faced. For almost a year, they juggled a transatlantic relationship under all that pressure. Then, in September 2017, Meghan took control of the narrative herself. In a now-famous cover story for Vanity Fair she talked about their relationship on her own terms for the first time. Her words were simple and powerful. "We're a couple. We're in love." It was a declaration that just cut through all the noise. Just 2 months later, on November 27th, the world got the news it was waiting for. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were engaged. The proposal itself wasn't some huge public spectacle. It happened on a quiet night at Nottingham Cottage, their home at Kensington Palace, while they were roasting a chicken. It was intimate, personal, and real. The ring was a story in itself. The main diamond was from Botswana, a tribute to the place where they fell in love. On either side were 2 smaller diamonds from the personal collection of his late mother, Princess Diana, a way to make sure she was with them on their journey. The fairy tale wasn't a secret anymore. It was now a global event in the making. Once the engagement was announced, the world basically started a countdown. The wedding was set for May 19, 2018, at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, a place steeped in 1,000 years of royal history. But this wedding already felt different. The public fascination was off the charts. A mix of love for Harry, intense curiosity about Meghan, and a general soft spot for a royal romance. In the United States, an American becoming a British royal was an irresistible story. Viewership in the US actually shot past that of Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding, with 29.2 million Americans tuning in. In the UK, the excitement on the ground was palpable. The streets of Windsor became a sea of red, white, and blue. Over 100,000 people flooded the small town, many camping out 4 days just to get a good spot along the carriage procession route. The vibe was electric, a massive street party with people from all over the world, united in their excitement. They set up picnics, waved Union Jack and Stars and Stripes flags, and shared a sense of being part of history. But then, just days before the wedding, the fairy tale hit a major snag, a very real and very public. Family crisis exploded. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, got caught up in a paparazzi scandal, admitting he had staged photos for money. This was followed by reports of him suffering a heart attack and needing surgery, meaning he couldn't travel to the UK to walk his daughter down the aisle. The drama played out in relentless headlines, casting a shadow of personal pain over what should have been a purely happy time. The question of who would walk Meghan down the aisle became a subject of intense speculation. The world watched, holding its breath, not just for a celebration, but also in sympathy for a bride navigating a deeply personal crisis on a global stage. And when May 19th finally arrived, it was everything the world had been waiting for, and more. The visuals alone were a masterful blend of tradition and a very personal statement. The day began with the poignant arrival of Meghan's mother, Doria Raglan, a figure of quiet dignity riding alone in the royal car, watching her daughter step into history. Then came the bride. As Meghan Markle emerged from the Queen's Rolls-Royce, she revealed the most anticipated wedding dress in the world. It was a stunning creation by British designer Claire Waite Keller, the first female artistic director of the iconic French fashion house. The dress was pure minimalist elegance, a sculpted, pure white gown with a graceful bateau neckline and three-quarter-length sleeves. It was a modern, understated choice, reflecting Meghan's own style. There was no lace, no beading, just 6 perfectly placed seams. Waite Keller later said they wanted a timeless piece that felt modern through its clean lines. But the simplicity of the dress was the perfect canvas for its most powerful feature. The veil. The silk tulle veil was a work of art, stretching an incredible 16.4 feet, hand-embroidered along its edge with the flowers of all 53 countries of the Commonwealth, a symbolic nod to Harry's role as Commonwealth Youth Ambassador. Meghan also added 2 personal touches: the California poppy, for her home state, and Wintersuite, from the grounds of Kensington Palace. Holding it all in place was the Queen Mary's diamond bandeau tiara, a spectacular Art Deco piece loaned to her by the Queen. Inside the chapel, Prince Harry waited in the formal frock coat uniform of the Blues and Royals. As Meghan appeared, a powerful, unprecedented moment unfolded. She began her walk through the first part of the chapel, the nave, on her own, a striking statement of independence. Halfway to the altar, at the choir, she was met by her future father-in-law, Prince Charles, who escorted her the rest of the way. It was a moving and historic gesture of support. As she finally reached the altar, a nervous, emotional Prince Harry looked at her and whispered, "You look amazing." If the look asterisk of the wedding hinted at a new era for the monarchy, the sound asterisk inside St. George's Chapel confirmed it. The ceremony was a bold, beautiful fusion of cultures, a deliberate choice by Harry and Meghan to infuse the ancient Anglican service with the soul of African-American Christianity. The moment that truly went viral was the sermon from the Most Reverend Michael Curry, the first African-American presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church. Personally invited by the couple, Bishop Curry delivered an electrifying sermon on the redemptive power of love. Drawing on the words of Martin Luther King Jr., he preached, "When love is the way, we will make of this old world a new world." His sermon was unlike anything a royal wedding had ever seen: energetic, passionate, and deeply personal. The cameras caught the reactions of the royals. Some looked a bit bemused, others were visibly moved. For many, it was the highlight of the day. The music was just as groundbreaking. The Kingdom Choir, a London-based gospel group, delivered a soaring, soulful rendition of the Ben E. King classic, "Stand By Me," in an arrangement by their conductor, Karen Gibson. The performance struck a chord with viewers everywhere, and the song shot to the top of the charts. As the couple signed the register, the young cellist, Sheku Kanamasa, the first black musician to win the BBC Young Musician of the Year award, played, and as they exited the chapel as husband and wife, the choir sang "This Little Light of Mine," a gospel anthem of the American civil rights movement. The message was clear. The monarchy was embracing a new, multicultural identity. Amidst the grand statements were the intimate details that defined the day. Harry and Meghan exchanged traditional vows from the Book of Common Prayer. Like Princess Diana and Kate Middleton before her, Meghan chose to omit the promise to obey her husband. As they exchanged rings, Meghan's made from Welsh gold, a royal tradition, and Harry's a modern platinum band, they both laughed, prompted by a roar of approval from the crowd outside. The day was filled with subtle tributes to Harry's late mother. Her sister, Lady Jane Fellows, gave a reading, and the chapel was decorated with white garden roses, Diana's favorite flower. Harry even handpicked forget-me-nots, his mother's favorite, from their private garden for Meghan's bouquet. But years later, a startling new detail came to light. In their 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Meghan revealed they had held a secret ceremony 3 days before the wedding. She explained, "We called the Archbishop and we just said, 'Look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us.'" A spokesperson later clarified this was a private exchange of personal vows in their backyard, not their legal marriage, but the revelation showed their deep desire for a personal connection away from the world stage. The vows they have framed are from that quiet garden moment. Back on May 19th, as the new Duke and Duchess of Sussex exited the chapel, the world got its fairy tale moment. They shared their first public kiss on the grand west steps of St. George's Chapel. This was another break from recent tradition. Unlike William and Kate, they chose this more immediate moment at their wedding venue. From there, they boarded an open-top Ascot Landau carriage for a 25-minute procession through the cheering streets of Windsor, a picture of pure happiness. The wedding of Harry and Meghan was a landmark event, a cultural moment symbolizing a more inclusive, modern monarchy. It was hailed as a huge step forward, a sign that the old institution was ready to evolve. But looking back now, knowing everything that came after, the whole day feels different, doesn't it? The cracks that would later fracture the family are, in hindsight, visible. The day that seemed to promise a royal Fab Four with William and Kate now looks like one of their last moments of united public happiness. The story Meghan later shared about a tense disagreement with Kate over the flower girl dresses adds a layer of bitter irony to the smiles captured that day. The touching image of Prince Charles walking his future daughter-in-law down the aisle is now tinged with the sadness of their later estrangement. At the time, it was a symbol of acceptance. Now, it stands in stark contrast to the deep rift that would form less than 2 years later. When Harry and Meghan stepped back as senior working royals in January 2020, even the joy of the day is now shadowed by the knowledge of the immense personal struggles Meghan was facing behind the scenes. So, was the wedding the beginning of a new era? Or was it the spectacular, hopeful climax before an inevitable fall? Was it a genuine attempt at integration that the institution just couldn't sustain? The wedding of Harry and Meghan is no longer just a fairy tale. It's become the first chapter in a much more complicated story about love, duty, family, and the crushing pressure of royal life in the 21st century. It remains a global sensation, but now it's one we see through a lens of hindsight, forever marked by what we know now. The royal wedding of 2018 was a moment in time, a dazzling spectacle of hope, love, and the promise of change. While the story has evolved in ways no one could have predicted, the power and beauty of that day are undeniable. It was, and still is, a definitive chapter in the story of Harry and Meghan. What do you remember most from that day? Did you watch it live? Let us know your favorite moments in the comments below. And if you love exploring fascinating stories like this one, make sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.